Welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
Remember that week when I forgot to introduce us? I don't remember what week it was.
We're anonymous. Nobody knew who we were.
And
We are getting closer and closer.
This is my new gnome.
4th of July.
Yeah. So I bought him, and I want to show him now because I'm taking him to my office.
It's a dog licking my toes.
So that is on our Etsy shop. It's called Patriot Dreams. It's just people watching fireworks.
That's cute. That's really cute.
It's a nice little small.
Yeah, it's fun. I got this at Hobby Lobby. More about that later. But you're going first.
Yeah. So I have met the goal on my WIPs for WIP-GO, and
Talk about that first.
yeah, and right now I'm working on finishing, and I had one new start, which is what I use for camp, and then I have a new start. But first, I'm going to talk about some stuff we have in the Etsy shop. You can't see it, but I will take a picture. There's an alien needle minder.
Oh, cute. That's adorable.
And then an alien scissor fob.
And we made two. One
Yeah.
one set's already sold. And they're not sold as a set. They're sold separately.
Yeah. But,
Cute.
our friend Vicky, thanks Vicky, bought one of these.
And
And
she said, I like those aliens, even if Beth doesn't believe.
But they have a cute little star-shaped, what do you call it? Clasp. And some cute little, these look like UFOs.
They
little
look like,
beads.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, it's cute. And little planets.
Yeah.
Flying
So-
discs.
So we'll take a good picture of those, a good close-up picture of those so you can, excuse me, see them. Sorry, some frog in my throat. So I've been working on a lot of stuff this week. Like I said, I worked on my second WIP-GO goal, which was the old clipper ship. I think last week I had just started it. Maybe, I don't remember. But no, I think I had worked on it a little bit last week. So I worked on some more of the bottom of the ship. So all the black that's in the hull of the ship is done. So there's no more black anywhere else. And I did just a little bit of stuff around it. And then this lighter color that's on the edges of the sails, I did more of that just to get it over with.
So
And
when the time comes and you are finished with this, and actually you've gotten quite far, what are your plans for it?
I have no idea. And so there's more of this light color that edges the sails before the main ecru part of the sail. So that's what's left up on the top, and it's always one of those things where I'm thinking, I can just finish it. I can just do more. And then there's lots and lots of details. But so it's coming along. But I've hit the 6 days, so I'm putting it away.
It looks like you got quite a bit done in this.
Yeah, this one is not as involved, I guess, as the Running with the Wind. It seems to have more, take up more space, whatever. But so part of my WIP-GO, of course, is finishing an item. In each square, I have a WIP, an FFO, and a new start. So this doesn't look like much, but it's my Priscilla's Pocket Stoneware Snowman that he's all taped up and ready for my finisher to sew the seams, and then I'm going to stuff it and everything else. So there's that. And then while I was doing the snowman, I thought, I did the stoneware bunny as part of my mania, and it was almost finished. I just had like the lower half here, part of his tail and this lower leg to go. So the other day when I was working on the snowman, I thought, I'm just going to finish that bunny. So I did that. So the bunny is finished. And this is a navy blue little, material that I backed the snowman with. And then my other Priscilla's Pocket bunnies stoneware things are. That's the back. This is the front, yeah. So this same blue material is what's going to go on the back of this to make a tiny pillow. And then my other FFO project is my Rabbit for January, February, and March, because those are the only ones that are finished stitching. So my plan is, this is just a mock-up taped up so I could show how it's going to finish, how it's going to be. So I'm going to glue them onto a piece of foam core, and that is going to go on this little disc like this. And the disc has holes in it because it's part of supposedly like a garland you would put, like, you would say, happy birthday or something like that. But I like the just the look of this. And what I want to do is probably the thinking so far, Naomi was helping me think this through, is to put one of these little tags on here to attach it to this. And I'll probably put some kind of cording or something around the square just to give it,
Yeah, and
so
if you
it
tie it
won't
with
look
a ribbon here, and then attach the tag, and then you have the...
And then this washi tape has the month titles.
And I was telling her if she made cording, she could coordinate it better than trying to find a ribbon. That would be, and that way she could make two different sizes, one to go through the little holes and one, and that way each month would be coordinated better than trying to find.
Or as your dad would say, coordinated.
But,
something that went with everything, you know.
And so the reason that we got the washi tape was because we wanted to find some way to indicate the month, because the designs don't, they like if you put them all in as one piece, it's kind of obvious that you've got all 12 and one for each month, but individually they don't say what months they are. And so that's why we decided on the little tags and the month names and all that. Because I was looking in the scrapbooking section for something that had the name of the month on it, and they're not small enough for this. And I also have some little stick-on bunnies, and I was thinking about it. I don't know if I have 12 of them. So I'm gonna have to look at my bunny supplies and see if I've got, something just to jazz up the decorations a little bit. So I've got this is February, and this is on Murano. This is on 32 count Murano crochet. So this is Pink Splash, which is a color that Hobby Lobby no longer carries. And this is Fleur, which is a color that Hobby Lobby no longer carries. And this is Spa, which is a color that Hobby Lobby no longer carries, I think.
They only have the white one.
So they only have, this the white one called Ice. And then the other ones I have in my stash that are waiting to be sewn and finished. There's one on mustard and one on rust, and I want to say one other color, but anyway.
It's a good thing you've got all the fabric at once.
Yeah, because, Anyway, so that's my FFO ideas that I've been working on. And then I had also committed myself to doing a new start for each WIP-GO call. And so last week I talked about the finish that I had for cross stitch camp, the little itty bitty kitty and the baby robin finish, and so that was one of my new starts for the month of June. And my other new start, I finally did choose one because I had two that I was trying to choose between, and I thought, well, it's already the end of the month, so the second one can go for July. Because I'll do one of my new starts will be the cross stitch camp piece I choose to do for July, and then the other one I'm going to show in a minute. But this is my my other new start for the month of June, and this is called "What's Your Superpower?" This is by Puntini. What's Your Superpower? And it's a picture of. I'm going to take a closer picture of it, but it's a picture of a sheep on a hill there, and it says, "I turn grass into wool. What's your superpower?"
Cute.
Yeah. So it is mostly
I turn wool into things. That's my superpower.
So it's all DMC colors except for the grass, the green of the grass, and the leaves, which is a Romy's Creations fancy floss called Camouflage. And when I first got this chart, I was going to start it some time ago, and I was looking on all the online things because nobody, I couldn't find any place that carried Romy's Creations floss, and so looking online, I found a couple of places that carry it, like I don't know if it's 122 Stitch or one of those places online that carried some Romy's Creation colors, but not Camouflage. I couldn't find it anywhere. So I had kind of given up on it, and I thought, well, I'm just going to use, another green from my stash, because it does list a DMC, equivalent for that color, but I really like the modeling, on the thing. So I thought, well, I'll just use another fancy floss color. So this is Scuppernong. I've been wanting to use that color because I like the way it sounds. But so I started to do the leaves because I started in the upper left-hand corner, and I was doing the leaves, and then it was like, they're a few squares apart. They're not that far apart, but it was like, wait, is this the I was like, is this in the right place? Is it in the right place? And then when I was the further along I got to, I was almost done with all the leaves, and it didn't. I was gonna put one in, and I thought, wait, this is not in the right place, and I went back and I took it out, and then I had to take another one out because it wasn't in the right place either. So I started doing the brown over here because there's like a tree.
I was gonna say, wouldn't you want to start with the tree first?
Well, I kind of did, but the very corner was this leaf, and I thought, well, I'll just do a little bit, just do one length of thread, on these leaves, because they were relatively close together. But the further along I kept, because I didn't make a working copy of the chart, so I didn't want to, mark on it, and so I was losing track of where I was and how,
deceptively difficult.
Yeah, so I got to the end of the thread, and I, like I said, I realized that the one leaf was in the wrong place, so I took it out, and then I just ended the thread, and so I did start on the brown, so that so now I'm going, okay, so that's where that one goes, because it was like I don't know, too low or something, and so I did start on working on the tree a little bit, so that's better. But the other thing I wanted to do, and this is something else we got at Hobby Lobby for that, for the finishing of the rabbits and nuts and these little marker things, colored marker things. So I haven't thought the whole process through, but that's in there. But so the other thing I wanted to start was, this is another Prairie Schooler chart. This is related to the Blackwork Angels, in my mind. It's basically the same style. Ooh. But it's called Starry Night, and it's the nativity story. So there's like 7 different little charts, and there's one with the 3 kings, one with a shepherd, the little town of Bethlehem, one of a donkey and a cow in the manger and the baby Jesus, and there's one of the angel, and one of Joseph and Mary, and a donkey.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah. And so the one with there's one of one of the kings on a camel. So so they're very cute.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. And they're relatively small. I think they're like 33 by 57, most of them, and one of them is 39 by 57. So they're all. But I was despairing a little bit because I thought, well, I don't know if I have the fabric, to do it all the same or to do it all in one piece. And I was like going through all my fabric, and because I was originally going to do it on this, which is like 28 count. I don't know what Irish linen. I think it's the label I have on it. But it wasn't quite big enough. It's like 20 by 24, and this I found this just by accident in a different place than all of my other things. But it's 22 count Hardinger, so it's a little bit different. But it's 30 by 36, so I think it'll work. And that's why I had it in a different place, because it's Hardinger, not like 28 or 32 count fabric or whatever. But I think it'll work for this, because I was thinking, the thing itself, the design itself is not very big, but then you have to allow room around the outside so that so you can finish it and all that. And and I didn't have anything that was quite big enough until I found this fabric. So the 22 count is a little bit different, and it'll make it a little bit different size, but it should work on that fabric anyway. So I think that's mostly me, because once I got to the I think I did like 7 days on that clipper ship just to get to finish the hull of the ship and everything. But I think that's it. That's me. Next.
Am I going next, or are you going next?
You can go next, that's fine.
Okay, I was just sitting here thinking I should have been writing down how many rows I did. So for me, I finished Hannah's sweater. Here's a photo of it on the Hannekin. It is now whisking its way to New Mexico. It should be there Monday. And I need to look at the tracking, see kind of where it is. I haven't looked. But it's on its way. I did not wash and block it. I steam blocked it. I steam blocked here's the picture of the two halves being after steam blocking. And then I sewed it all together. And when you sew the shoulders, then you pick up around was I doing that when I was last here? I had already done that. Mm-hmm. I picked up around the neck, and then, I was sewing the sides when I was here last week. So I finished sewing the sides, and then I actually put it on the Hannekin, as I call it, and actually steam blocked it right on the mannequin. And I went ahead and sent it. I mean, it's bamboo and rayon, so like a wash and block, like a traditional wool, wouldn't make a huge difference. So I went ahead and did that and sent it off. And so that was my big accomplishment. So I started then working more on Jordan's sweater. And in the picture you see that I was wearing the gauntlet of knit power. This is her. She wants extra puffy sleeves, so... I
thought you said extra puppy sleeves.
Extra puppy sleeves.
What is a puppy sleeve?
So this sleeve is increased twice after the cuff, and then an additional 8 stitches added. So it's very, very, very puffy. And I didn't make the cuff very long. I didn't consult with her. I thought maybe a longer cuff might have been interesting on a big puffy sleeve like this, but I just made it the basic 2 inches. Because actually I think it makes it really cute like that. So anyway, so I started the sleeve. I'm only about 15 rows into the stockinette of the sleeve. But what's the matter?
I'm playing thread chicken and I got frustrated.
And you got chicken? So I went to Hobby Lobby and
I have
Joanne's.
3 more stitches, and I only have this much thread.
Oh, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, it would. I would do it.
I think it'll fit. It's just
It's hard.
you have to thread the needle every time you use it, and I'm just not in the mind space to do that right now. So I'm gonna leave it for now, and I'll do a different color.
Anyway, I went to Joanne's and Hobby Lobby yesterday because at work I'm always knitting, and so I have lots of friends like, teach me to knit, teach me to knit. So I decided this summer I'm gonna have a knitting class at work, and I've titled it TPS Knits, and started a little teams group of the people who are interested. So I decided I need to go out and scout supplies to tell them what kind of yarn to buy. I thought about going to Tempe Yarn, but I thought, all of these people are super, super, super brand new. And I wholeheartedly believe, obviously, best things can be had, and you should always use the best, best, best. But I also think you're starting a new craft, and you don't know if you're even going to like it or feel successful. And my goal is to make people successful, but figured, everyone has their first needle and their first ball of yarn. So I went to Joann's and scouted out. And actually, you guys were talking about Hobby Lobby.
Mm-hmm.
They used to have a lot more yarn choices.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
their
they
yarn
got-
choices are...
They used to that cool fabric I got for the shawl. They stopped selling
Oh,
that.
cool yarn. Yeah, I saw like 4 skeins of it
Yeah, they
like
stopped.
in a bin.
And-
like they're
and
just
it's
getting rid
like-
of it.
So there was something I was going to look for. I don't remember what it was, and then I said to Beth, if they still sell it.
Right, right.
You know?
So I was real disappointed, but I had gone to Joann's first, and so I got a lot of options. I'm going to encourage them to go toward wool, and this is the wool I bought. It's just a natural color, 100% wool. I left did I put it in here? Maybe I put it in here. Yeah, here it is. The label. This is Peyton's Classic Wool Worsted. So, but I took a lot of pictures for them of like some acrylics they could use, some wool they could use. My only real, wool is nice because it sticks to itself and it's a little easier to, to make something feel good. Anyway, the first project we're going to make is wrist warmers because we all work in the coldest place on earth. You would think that would not be in Arizona, but you would be wrong.
Yeah, everything's
so
hyper.
and this was a pattern, honestly, that I made when you start to work for Tempe Yarn and Fiber, they make you take the beginning knit class so that you are all so you all have the same lingo for any customers that come in. It was really good. So it was good to take a beginning knit class again and kind of learn the ropes. Like, I knew how to knit already. You can't get a job there without knowing how to knit. But it was good to go to the class, Anyway, one of the things we made was a wrist warmer. I no longer have that pattern. But it was just basically a rectangle of garter stitch, which is knitting every single row. And you knit it until it fits around your wrist. And then you sew up the sides. And then you just leave a hole for your thumb. And then you sew this part right here. So I thought that's a really great thing to start with. So that's what I'm gonna. But I don't have the pattern, so I'm just making it up. And I thought, well, I started casting on, and I'm like, I think I need like 55 stitches. I have no idea because I didn't measure my gauge. And this is a size 8 needle, which I thought is nice and big for worsted weight yarn. Some of the balls recommended 7s, some recommended 8s, but I decided I think I'm going to recommend 8s because it'll give them a nice fluffy stitch. And so I cast on 55 and I started knitting, and then I went to put it against my wrist, and it was like a sleeve. It came down to here, and I'm like, no, that's too long. So this is 35 stitches, and I think once it's fully realized and finished, it'll be plenty long for a little like fingerless wrist warmer. So But I just realized I hadn't been tracking my rows, and I really should teach them also, like, track your rows when you're making two things, so that the next time you know exactly how big it should be. And you don't have one that's big and one that's little, like in all the movies when someone makes someone a sweater, one sleeve is this long and one sleeve is, a short sleeve. That's because you don't track your rows. But anyway, so that's what
It
I
also
did.
has a lot to do with gauge.
Yeah, that too.
Like when you're really relaxed and your knitting is so loose, and then you're uptight about something, so your knitting is real tight.
So that's my project. And while I was at Joann's, so this is funny. A long time ago, I bought this fabric for Hannah. It's very cute. This was years. This has been sitting in my stash. It's strawberries. Look how cute it is. Isn't that adorable? And she's always loved it. And I'm always like, I need to make you something. And I have enough to make like a short dress. And it was my intention to make a dress, but you know how I am. So I never did. And while she was home, I was like, I have this pattern, and I did make her this dress before. And like, this is an hour, quote unquote, pattern. That's an hour sewing, right? It's not ironing the fabric, and cutting out the pattern, and pattern paper, and then cutting out the pieces of the fabric, and cutting out the interfacing, and blah, 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 blah. That's more than an hour. But I thought while she was home, I'm like, I can do this in a weekend. But, okay, I had made this for her, and she's since changed sizes, and I did not save, although usually I do. But sometimes it's impossible, right? Because they put the same size, you just cut it. Like if it's this many sizes, you cut it down, and I needed to go smaller, and so I had already cut out some of the curves and all that, and I didn't, so I only had that one size in there. So I was like, I can't use this if and I didn't have. Anyway, this was only like $3, so I bought a new one. And I also bought. She was kind of out of pocket when I was at the store, and I messaged her with both of these pictures, this little top and this dress, and I was like, which one would you want? And she didn't answer me before I left the store, so I bought both of them. And she did pick the dress after all. So I'm going to make this little sleeveless dress, although I'll ask her if she wants the cap sleeves instead. But I'm going to make her one of these short dresses. I think it'll be cute. Or maybe if I have enough fabric, I might make her a long one. I'll ask her what she wants. But so I bought patterns, and then at some point I can make her this cute little top, or one for myself. And while I was also there, I bought fusible interfacing because I probably have some in my box somewhere, but I don't know where.
What kind is that? Is it what size? I mean, is it? Oh, it doesn't say.
What do you mean?
Like they have a interfacing that's like mid-weight and featherweight.
Yeah, no, this is lightweight, good for blouses, dresses, collars, cuffs, blah blah blah. It's not heavy duty. It's for clothing. Anyway, so I bought that. What else? I think that's it for me. I'm kind of in a slump. I finished Hannah's top, and I was like, now what do I knit? And I was like, well, yeah, I need to get a knit Jordan's sweater, and I need to go back to Miriam's shawl. And I'm like, I'm not going to start anything new, but then I got to start class. But I want to make one to demonstrate what we're making, etc. And I'll make the second one in class with them. But so I went on a scouting trip, and I took pictures of needles and yarn needles, and I'm trying to think of all the things you need. So anyway, that's me. You're next, Steve.
Okay. I did not do a lot of cross stitch. I don't know what I was doing.
Making scissor fobs.
Well, I only made one scissor fob, but I tried to make another one.
Oh yeah, the one with the eagle.
I have it over there still half made. Remember, I picked that bag of patriotic
The patriotic charms.
because of the big eagles, because I thought, oh, those will go with those beads because they're nice and big. And so I started stringing one of those, and it when you lift up the charm, the eagle goes like this. The loop for the eagle is theoretically in the center of the eagle, but one wing is really long and one is not, and so it tilts. And does it hurt the running any of the scissor fob? No, but it bothers me. And so I have it mostly made, and I'm like, I don't know. Hey, Naomi, it's behind you.
On that
Be careful.
tray.
Just lift the whole tray and give me the whole tray.
Just don't tip it because
There's tons of loose beads. So I was like, okay, I think I like this, and then I was like, no, I don't. Beth, Naomi.
Oh. Yeah.
And so even when
I guess if it had a smaller bead here, it wouldn't look quite so
Maybe
bad
if it was
because
longer?
it would. A smaller bead where?
Right where the
Right above, instead of
I tried putting a whole row of smaller beads to see what that
yucky.
looked like.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that. I tried putting no small beads, and I didn't like that. The only thing to do would be to try to figure out how to weight this side so that it would hang straight.
Let me see.
And so
Well, I was saying that with the smaller bead where the tip of the
Why
wing
did they
is.
make it like that? Because if you wore it on your neck or something,
it would do the same thing. Yeah. If you had it on a charm bracelet or anything like that, it would do the same thing. It's annoying and makes it kind of useless.
Well, like I said, I was saying the only thing that might possibly work would be if there were a smaller bead where the tip of the wing is, so that it wouldn't hit it.
No, but
and it would,
but that's what
I
she
don't
said.
think
She
it would.
tried that already.
Yeah.
I tried putting,
Yeah.
and it just, I mean, I could put a whole bunch of smaller beads all the way up and no big beads, and it still would do that.
Yeah.
Because the problem is that the
It's
charm
hung
itself is
off
weighted
center.
wrong.
Yeah.
And the only way to fix it is to weight it more on this side.
And there's no way to do that.
No. And I thought, well, okay, I can beat it all around and get it to like center itself. And I said, why would I do that? It's
not worth it.
Yeah. So I wasted a lot of time with that. And then in this bag of beads, which I can't open, there are 2 star sizes. There's these huge stars. I took a picture of these last time, and then there's these little stars. So when that was annoying me, I thought, well, I'll make one with the little star at the bottom. And these come in the same package. Remember that, right? Do they look good together? No. Ask me how I know. So I wasted a lot of time doing that, and then I put it aside. Here, Naomi. And
So I should spill this now?
no, don't, because we're still picking up beads.
I'm still stepping on beads
from when I dumped that. Tube of beads. Unfortunately, we find them with our feet.
It's better than finding a needle with your feet.
Then I made that this. Where is it?
The alien.
I made this, and I really love the way those iridescent beads look with these green beads. and it does look like planets and saucers and stuff. And the reason I use the stars, because you know the aliens are in the stars.
Yes.
But I'm thinking I may. I have those little tiny. Aliens, and so I may use some combination of the clear iridescent beads and the colored iridescent beads, and maybe some of those green ones. I don't know. I haven't worked on those little ones because I keep thinking, what should I do? Because they're so little, you can't overwhelm them, you know. Well, I have done on other things, had a little tiny charm and big beads, but I was thinking about this one. We're actually sold out of this on the Etsy shop, and I have more of these.
Is that a saucer? Flying
Yeah,
saucer?
I have more of these, and I might have. I know I have more of the iridescent beads that are in here, but I bought these as a. You can't see it from there, I know. I'm sorry. The round beads and the rondelles as a strand. And I went over there and looked, and they no longer have that string of beads. I even asked somebody, we were looking, she goes, I have just rondelles. I'm like, no, I have rondelles. It's the silver filigree bead that I was looking at, you know. And so if I make another one of these, it's going to have to be
A little different.
a little bit different. But I like the spaceship. So I've wasted a lot of time cogitating about scissor fobs. And
That's not wasted time. That's just time used. That's all.
then I worked some more on the bags. As Naomi was saying, you know, it only takes so long to do this or that. When you're sewing, well, I had cut out 4 bags. Well, I realized when I went back to work on it again, I had cut out 3.5. So I finished cutting out the 4th one, and then I got to cut out all the interfacing. That is very tedious. And then I had to iron on the interfacing. And the air conditioning does not hit this room like it does any other room. So I had to keep stopping in between and going and cooling off somewhere.
Oh, no.
Because there's no fan or anything in here. And then Beth came, you know, she wanted to come in here and work on her FFOs, and it's near the end of the month, and I was like, okay, I'll go do something else. And it should have been go stitch. I think I went and, you know, closed my eyes somewhere. Anyway, enough about stuff I didn't do.
Welcome to the video about what
I was going to do this.
I
but
was
then
going to
didn't.
do. Wishful
Well-
thinking.
You can tell I worked on these because they're stiff. You know,
Yeah.
I picked out zippers and, you know, put on interfacing and I sewed the handles. And then I let Beth have the room. Okay, so I'm stuck to my chair. The perils of wearing shorts. So my temperature SAL, Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts, 2023 temperature SAL. And I don't know if I've mentioned that this is a 14 count Ada that I dyed myself. And it's actually a big piece. So I can go down pretty far, and it's kind of like a mottled blue, and I think it works really well with the
The colors.
yeah, with the design. But I have this side over here, and I keep going, is that big enough to do anything with? this side piece of fabric, probably not. But anyway, the
You know what would be cool? A bookmark of the bottom turned sideways, the flowers.
yeah.
Like if you use that lengthwise down that side, or even as an additional, if you want to give
And
yourself.
like I
more
keep
work.
saying, I keep thinking maybe I'll do a little key as to what
Oh,
each
that'd be
color
cute.
is.
Yeah, you could do that down the side.
Anyway, this last week, I just needed 2 colors. It was below 105, it was above 105. It was below 105, it was above 105.
But not below 100.
No. No. And since I'm inside so much, I don't get as hot.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I really should go swimming, but I'm cold. And because I've been inside in the air conditioning, as we said, the air conditioning, and I don't have it set super cold. It's just if you don't go outside and warm up, you don't need, you feel the heat so much. And then Beth and I go grocery shopping, and we come back in and go, oh my God. Around here in the summer, you have to have those bags that keep your cold things cold and take them with you to the grocery store, because your ice cream will melt into a puddle.
I usually like Eli, can we go to the store or whatever? I'm like, when the sun goes down, then I go places.
Yeah, so getting frozen things from the grocery store back home and having them still be frozen.
It's a challenge.
Yes. The challenges of living somewhere really hot. And yet, I prefer it to really cold. Okay, so we're going to have to put up a picture here of the Wizard Snowman. I am working on Mary Ravenclaw. I have worked on it several days, but working with Krynick is a challenge, and so you get very, very, very tired of it very shortly. And then I did all the back stitching for the title, because I wanted it to look like something, not little blotches. So it says Mary Ravenclaw. So now I have to go back down here and continue working on the snowman. I did his little, they always have on these, there's a little spark at the end of their wand. This one has 2 colors of Krynick in it, and so there's the silver in the scarf, and I haven't finished the scarf yet. That is my next job. And then I might go ahead and put in the gray shadowing, or I might start on the white snowman. I have to decide that. But I don't want to have the gray shadowing in if I might put it in the wrong place, because I don't want to go backwards any more than I already have. And I keep,
I'm just measuring. That's plenty long. That's good. Okay, sorry.
I keep looking at the bird that I've finished over here, and I don't have the yellow color there in his eye. I haven't put it in. But then there's a French knot on top of the yellow eye. And I'm like, why is there 2 things in the same stitch? So I have to look at the instructions more carefully. And there's a lot of back stitching around the bird. I'm not going to do that till the end. So I'm plugging away at my snowman. I really like them. I want to get them all 4 done. I only have 2 done in that. But, it's not an emergency, so. I am not going to finish my cross stitch camp piece. This is Robin by Cute Patterns by Maria. Did I say that the Merry Ravenclaw was by Cross Stitching for Fun? It's by Cross Stitching for Fun. And I'm stitching on 14 count, some kind of sparkly thing that was DMC. I don't remember the name of it. Yeah. This is a really cute bird. I really love it. I really want to finish it. I can't say I'm enjoying stitching it.
Why? Because it's so
Pixelated.
pixelated and...
Yeah, I don't even have all the colors in this top thing yet up here. And I don't want to take one color and go and finish all of it because it's so striped and all that. I'm afraid of getting it in the wrong place.
Just go, yeah.
But I got so sick of red that I went ahead and started on this. This is a blended color, but it's the shadow right behind the, underneath the hat.
It's so cute, though. It'll be so worth it, Eve.
Yeah, it will. And you know, things that are hard and challenging like that. Like Beth has been working on those ships for a while, but now that they're starting to look like a ship, they look really cool.
Yeah.
You know, and so I thought this is a little thing. It's not very big. I can do it in a month. But I have been doing other things, you know. So
And not doing other things.
and not doing other things. That's true.
This is the podcast about not doing things.
So, and you can see that all of that different colors is worth it because the you can see the
Can I see it up close?
you can see the definition in the
The ribbing
Little
of the
scarf.
hat. Oh, that's so nice.
yeah, and that isn't even with
Oh,
the
yeah.
with the back stitching in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. That's so nice.
I might not put the back stitching on the hat.
Oh, let me see it. Let me see it.
I'm afraid I'm just gonna make it, you know, because you can see the ribbing and all that.
You should. It's so cute.
I don't know. We'll see.
His little face is so cute.
Yeah. And I
His
love the
little
little...
talons.
I was
like-
gonna say his feet.
Yeah.
His feet.
And I like the little strings coming off the pom-poms. Oh, you have to do the back stitching. It's so cute. You have to.
I'm afraid of this little
Little
circular things.
They're like little hearts or little...
No,
yeah.
they're just like to make it look like more like ribbing, you know.
Oh, like stitches.
Yeah, and I'm afraid that because I think if you don't get them all the same, you know, it'll look kind of weird.
No, don't be afraid. You're good. Don't be afraid.
Fear
not.
It won't be anytime soon. So, because I have to finish it first,
Once you get it finished, you're going to be like, it needs all the back stitching.
and then this is Stars and Stripes Stitching with the Housewives, and it's on 14 count navy Ada. I am almost done with this one over here, this second S. Almost done. I have this much thread left. And I have 2.5 more stitches to do. I might be able to get it. And of course I could start another thread.
But who wants to do that?
There's 2 white stars on this side here, so I could start another thread. I would use it, but I don't want to. So I went ahead and started this blue star over here, and hopefully when I'm sitting where I can grab that thread better, because right here while I'm talking and stuff like that, you just drop it too many times. So I'm just going to work on something else. And then I think that is everything. But I do have a story.
What's your story?
One of the other reasons why I didn't get anything done. Remember when I said that when you go outside and you get overheated, then when you come back in, you're like, ugh. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to do anything for a while, right? Mm-hmm. Now in the mornings, it's not hot. But then there's traffic. So I want to say Tuesday night, I got awakened by Beth getting up and feeding her cats, I don't know, at some god-awful hour, and the dog heard her and wanted out so that she could eat kitty snacks. And
I give her a handful of cat food every time I go to feed the cats, so she gets all excited.
So
She likes it better than
we'll
her
be
dog
already in bed, and she hears Beth come into that hallway, and she is by that door. I think she leaps straight from the bed into the door, and it is a distance. Let me tell you, not as much as the distance of that dog that I showed you the video of.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, holy cow! Anyway, and then I got her and put her back, and we went back to sleep. And then Robert came home, and she wanted to say hi to him. So she got up and and so I brought her back in. And then I laid down again and had closed my eyes, and then my son knocked on the door. And he wanted to tell me that his car was having some issues, and he really, really needed to take it the next day. And so we discussed, all of that, because he was updating his real estate license. Mm. So he had already signed up for the classes in Scottsdale.
Mm-hmm. A far drive from us.
Yes, and he needed to be there by 8 o'clock in the morning. And so that's driving in rush hour traffic that far. But first, no, you know what? It must have been Monday night, because we took his car Tuesday, but it wasn't ready. And so he was going to get it on Wednesday. So he didn't have his car to go to the real estate place. So I had to drive all the way up there to take him. And then, of course, you have to drive back. And then I had to go pay the ransom on the car and grab the keys. I did that with Beth. We did other things. And then I had to drive back up there and pick him up. So I spent my day going back and forth to Scottsdale and to the car place. I was just like, I don't want to get involved in something and not realize what time it is, mm-hmm. because I don't want to forget to go pay for the car. And, if I don't pay for the car, I can't get the keys. If I don't get the keys, I'll have to take him to Scottsdale again. But, car challenges, they're just, sometimes when you hear something going on with your car, you're like, what is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, when I bought this car, the Accord, my Civic, I had a Honda Civic, and one of those it was a little hatchbacky. It had like a clamshell, back end. They don't make them that way anymore, but I don't think they even make that anyway. But so I'd had that little Civic like 14 years or something like that, and I mean it was I'd had it forever, and it was starting to have problems. It didn't really have any problems. It was a great car until it was about 10 years old. Then little by little things started happening to it. But so when I was thinking about whether or not I would replace it, at the time in Little Rock, I was very broke, and I thought if I really can't afford to take on a car payment right now, and but then I had a couple of near misses, and I thought if I were to get in an accident and the insurance company were to total the car, I'd be out of luck, and I'd have my back up against the wall and have to buy a car, and but yeah, so fortunately, but I mean, like I kept having these nightmare scenarios because I was like one time I was stuck in traffic coming from work, and I don't know if there was an accident or something, but it was one of those things where you're just sitting bumper to bumper and you're going jump, 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 and on this particular road there were some businesses in one area to the right, and then it was 2 lanes and a center turn lane and 2 lanes. And up ahead, there was like a church that, a little parking lot. And then on the right, there were some little businesses. And so some people were trying to get out of the businesses. And so a couple of the vehicles up ahead stopped so that this person could get out. And that car was coming out. And somebody back, in the back of the traffic, got frustrated and wanted to turn around.
They knew better.
And so he was going. So this guy in this big truck was going down that turn lane, heading for that church, so he could turn around and go back the other way, and get out of the traffic. So he comes flying down that turn lane, and here goes the guy trying to get out of the parking lot, on the side of the road, and I was like, he's gonna hit him, and that meant, there would be a chain reaction on all the cars, would hit each other, or whatever, and I thought, and they were right in front of me, and I thought, it's gonna destroy my car. If he hits him and they have a wreck, it's gonna hit me, and it's gonna destroy my car. But fortunately, I guess the guy, they all screeched on their brakes, just in time. And then shortly after that, I was again on my way from work, and I had gotten off the freeway, and there was like a, like Main Street, this big street, and then the next street that crossed over the freeway was the one where I would turn left. So I was already in the left lane, but I was gonna go straight. And this guy in a Jeep or something was next to me. So I assumed he was also going to go straight or turn right or something. But I think in some of the streets that crossed over the freeway like that, there was a double turn lane, and some of them there weren't. And I didn't have my blinker on to turn left. And I think this guy thought it was a double turn lane, but it was not. But so if I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, he might have thought I was going to turn left. I don't know. But as we started going, when the light changed, we started going. I was going straight. He started to turn left, and he was like right in front of me. Yes. And I was like, ugh. And so I turned my wheel as hard as I could and slammed on my brakes as I was doing that, and he kind of did the same thing, but he came so close to hitting me. And I thought, it scared the bejesus out of me. And so, yeah. So it was shortly after that I went ahead and got the car.
That would make me not want to get a new car.
Naomi has had a lot of not major accidents compared to us. Side swipes and because the longer you're on the roads, and you were always driving from one place to another.
Always. Yeah, I've been
and
driving so much.
So I got a phone call. Can you come and give me a ride home?
Which one was that?
That was the one over there on Day.
Day and Ray. Ray and Day. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that little old lady who pulled out, I saw her life flash in front of my eyes. Yeah, we were driving down and that wrecked my car pretty good.
Yeah, it did.
I was in the left lane and there was a car like this in front of me. So when that car passed her, she thought she could turn because she didn't know I existed. But you know, I think that car, it was like a dark green. Some people called it gray. I called it dark green.
It was
I think
invisible.
it was invisible. Because she didn't see me, and he went past her, and she pulled out in between us. And I see this little old lady's face, like literally in front of my car, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then when she saw me, instead of just
zooming
past
Yeah.
where I might have hit the rear end of her car, she stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm going to hit her. So she basically stopped, in my memory, she stopped in my lane, but she was slowing down, trying to stop but she was trying to stop right in front of me. So I don't know why, but the grace of God, I of course slammed on my brakes, but I swerved to the left. So she hit me right in my, was that the time?
Yeah, the right quarter panel.
Right
of the
back
car.
quarter panel. And I think she might have damaged my axle. And I kept going a little bit and wound up somehow in the craziness half on the, so I was on the opposite side of the road, kind of on the median, half on the median. And she'd hit me. And then there was the time where I was with Dad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that one, they hit the left,
Dad-
the driver's side.
Dad's.
No. They also hit the right-hand side.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where Dad was, because I
banged
remember he
into
banged his elbow, and that elbow never felt good
No,
for him
never,
afterward.
Yeah. And it, I can't remember now where it hit exactly. In the front, I guess. In the front end, because
they broadsided you.
because Dad couldn't open the door.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. I was like, my memory is going.
That one was also somebody pulling out from a side street while you're already on the
I
street.
was just right there, and he's like, I didn't see you. I'm like, this is a very large sedan. So my dad, whenever I'd take Mom somewhere, he'd be like, be careful in your invisible car. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that Accord that Robert's driving now. Shortly before I came out here, I guess, I was in that car and I was downtown. I don't remember why I was going to work late. I don't know if I had an appointment or something like that, but I was going into work later in the afternoon or something, and I was crossing Main Street down there in Little Rock, and so I'm sitting there waiting, and a vehicle went by, and so I had looked to the left, okay, there's that vehicle, and and I was gonna go right after him or something, and this van was behind him,
Mm-hmm.
and so I absolutely couldn't see him until this other vehicle pulled out, and I had already committed to going, and there was the van in front of me, and so he's slamming on his brakes and I'm slamming on brakes, and I tried to turn again to the right this time to avoid hitting him, but I still the right front corner of my car hit his right where his wheel was, and apparently I broke his axle too. And I was like, "What are these cars made of plastic or something that the axle breaks when because my car had just a dented front corner."
Yeah.
I didn't, and it's like I hit him with a battering ram or something.
It just depends on how it goes.
Yeah, you never know.
But what was funny is that while my car was in the shop, I had some kind of I don't know, Chevy or something, but it was an SUV because that was the only thing they had available at this rental place, rather than that was equivalent to my car or whatever. So that they didn't have anything except the SUV one step up, I guess. But so I was running it, but it was like the whatever the material the front seat was, it was a little bit slippery. So I always felt like I would get in this thing and then I would like slide forward. I'm like pushing myself up to try to,
That's a good way to know you'll never buy that car.
But what was really nice was, it was like I said, it was like toward the end of the 2015 season, I guess, because it was the last season I played, I think. But what was nice was being able to put my horn in the back, and in the back part of that it was kind of easier to get out or something like that. It was like I got very spoiled for those few days that I had.
We took Beth's cat to the vet yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, poor Snuggle.
And I thought she was going to have to stick the cat on the seat, in the carrier. No, it fit in front of the seat. The carrier did.
I almost broke my back putting that cat in the thing.
It's a very heavy cat.
He weighs 18 pounds, they told me at the vet. But the, there's a regular sized carrier for cats. And I got to the point where I couldn't put him in there. And he's too big for the carrier, I think, a little bit. And it just, it looked uncomfortable to me for him. So I had bought a soft-sided carrier somewhere that has like zippers on the ends, on both ends, so you could open up, one end or the other. And then it has a double zipper panel on the top, so you could put the cat in through the top if you want to. So when I first got it out, he was just kind of looking at it kind of a little wary, and he realized, I think, as I unzipped the one end, because I was going to shove him in there, because he was right handy on the corner of the bed, and I thought, oh, good, I can just stick him in there. So he realized what it was, and he jumped off the bed and I saw him trying to go under the bed, and I thought, I cannot let him get under there because I'll never get him out. So I turned around real quick and just clamped my hand down on the floor. So he was sitting there, and I had to pick him up off of the floor, and then I tried to get him to go in the end of the carrier, and I couldn't. He wouldn't go in. So I had to hold him, clamped down on his shoulders so he couldn't get off the bed. And I'm trying to zip the end of the carrier with one hand. And I'm trying to zip it, and trying to unzip the top part. And I had to actually use my teeth to hold the carrier and unzip it, And then I had to pick him up and put him in through the top of the carrier. And he's sticking his feet out everywhere.
Yeah. So with one of my cats, the vet, with Tyler, the vet's the best way to put him in is to hold him under their arms so their legs are dangling and put him down.
Yeah.
Not Calvin. If you hold him like this, he's climbing out. Mm-hmm. His back legs are... So I told you last time I basically had to shove both cats down onto the ground so that they couldn't run. Mm-hmm. And walk them like that. In it. And shove them in. They're along the thing. But,
And, I took my dog to the vet, and she sees me pick up the leash, and she's like, yay! And we go outside to the car, and she's up on the car, take me, take me, take me. And she wasn't even mad when we got to the vet. And she knew that it was a vet. I think it was the last place she was in the car, And she's all happy coming in, and then she saw another animal and she started barking.
Well, when I lived in Little Rock, I had the carrier, one of the carriers, I guess, on top of I had an old a wardrobe thing in there in my apartment. And I kept the carrier up there because Puck actually liked to go in there like a little den, and he would go in there all the time. But if I had to take him to the vet, he didn't want to get in. He would fight tooth and claw. And and he's the nicest cat. And actually he likes strangers. If I've had workmen, come to the apartment.
He likes them because they'll leave the door open and he can get out.
No, but like in my apartment in Little Rock, they came to replace my
That's how Calvin is.
furnace
He likes
unit,
people,
and they're
but-
like, "Hi," he's like, and when somebody's parent would come over, one of my students would come over, his parents would come over, and he's like, happy to meet them and all that. And a matter of fact, when I got snug, my friend Tracy and his wife had kittens. They had Snug, and they had another kitten that I was going to choose between the two of them. And so they came to the door, and he heard, he heard, they knocked on the door, and so Puck was all excited. And then when they came to walk in, this little carrier with a kitten in it, and he's like, But when I go to the vet, take him to the vet, he turns into a totally different cat. He's like a monster. He will rip and claw and meow and all kinds of stuff, and he's hateful and horrible. If the vet came here, made a house call, he probably wouldn't mind nearly at all.
Yeah.
But until they started doing things to him, then he would hate them with all of his life. But going to the vet, it's like
It's weird. Totally, I think because Calvin went through so much pain with that really bad thing on his tail, I thought he was going to lose his tail for a while. And he had like a really bad infected wound, and the next time I tried to get him into a carrier, I got this scar right here, because he's sweetest thing, but he was terrified.
Yeah.
And now, we shoved him in, but once he gets there, he's like all over the place, really happy. And Hobbs was so scared when we went this last time. Calvin was just, sitting, and Hobbs is like, brother. It's so cute. But, switching gears from accidents and pets. We had a very interesting day downtown.
Oh, yeah.
On Tuesday.
Yeah, I saw something on the news finally about that. Yeah.
So, I'm in my office working, and Eli is coming into town to meet me for lunch. And I usually expect a text from him that says, I'll be there X time, whatever. And then he'll text me, he's like, I'm here. So then I clock out and I go down, and we meet for lunch. That's our usual routine. And so all of a sudden he called me, and I was like, oh, that's weird, because I'm like, I said, hey, I'm coming down. I didn't see a text from you. And he goes, I can't get into my building. So our buildings are across from each other, catty corner or kitty corner, wherever you say that, from whatever part of the country you're from, and diagonally across the intersection from each other. And I hadn't been out, and I hadn't heard anything. So he's like, it's all blocked off with police tape. And so I'm like, what? So I go down there, and he's like, yeah, the lobby's full of police officers, and I can't get inside. So he comes over, I guess I can't remember, but we're looking, and there's like, because his Uber couldn't drop him off normally. He had to drop him off around the other side of the whole block. So he was walking up. So we met on the corner, and I'm like, there were fire engines, hazmat units, ambulances, all along the street and down the little side street. And there was police tape in the lobby, and I could see a whole clump of like firefighters or something inside. And I'm like, and I'm looking at the building like, it's not smoking, okay. So he called his friend who works, all day. So he called his friend, and his friend said, we're being isolated, but he didn't tell him. It was unclear what was going on, but he said we were isolated. And we're like, that's so strange. So we're like, well, let's go eat lunch. So we went to a lunch place, and while he was there, he tried to call his boss, who was out of town, and he called his coaches, and they called in and tried to find out what's going on. And then, so what one person said was that there was a gas leak, is what they said.
They don't use hazmat
on the
gas
18th
things.
floor, and possibly a suspicious package or something. That's what we heard, the first rumor that we heard. And then, so Eli's like, well, I guess I'm going home. I'm like, well, let's wait, because we had an hour. And so I'm like, well, let's just go walk over there, because people were walking.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't eventually they closed off the street, the major street, and then they closed off the side street. But people were walking up and down the block. And I'm like, let's go check this out, because something seems weird to me. Because they didn't stop us from crossing the street.
Mm-hmm.
So we walk over there, and all the little restaurants underneath are still open in the same building. They're still open. People are going in. I'm like, that's weird. So then, because I'm like, if it was a gas leak, an actual gas leak, they would evacuate the building.
Right.
And you would have seen the gas company
Right.
trucks.
And so we keep walking. And so the way this building is, there's like a lobby entrance on the ground floor. And then if you go to the back, it's like a mall that's kind of raised up. So there's another level of the lobby. Like if you were to go in the ground floor, you'd ride an escalator, and there's another half of the lobby in the back. So I'm like, let's go around to the back and see if that is also cordoned off. Then yeah, you can't get in. So we went around, because I saw the door when we were on the street level. I could see the door opening and closing, and I'm like, okay. So we went up the escalator. It's outdoor, and there's people just walking in and out. And I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, let's go check it out. So we go in, and there's a lady standing at the concierge desk. And so my son said, is it safe to go up? And she said, what floor do you work on? And he told her, and she's like, yeah, you can go to that floor. But the 18th floor, so we had heard it was the 18th floor. And he's like, I don't feel safe. What's going on, And so meanwhile, his coach came down, and she had been up on his floor all day. And she's like, we didn't even know anything was going on. And she's like, if it was really dangerous, they would have evacuated the building. And they haven't. I mean, they're all there. Like they would have, if there was a danger,
Yeah.
So she talked him into going to work. And so they went up. So I go back to my building, and my HR director, because her window faces the street right where all the emergency was, and the EMS, and she's like, are you, is your son okay? How's your son? Oh, okay. I can't believe they didn't evacuate the building. If I was the HR director over there, I'd be like, go home. And she's like, because you just never know, and if it's something leaking, and I'm like, you're not making me feel better, Lynn. So anyway, we go on, and eventually, after a couple hours, everybody left. But at first it was really concerning, because I saw like Tempe fire was there, and like so many fire units. Like, what is going on? And they kept sending people in and sending people in. But the elevators were working. And I guess there was a security guard at the elevator saying in the elevators, like, what floor are you going to? Like, wouldn't let him go to a particular floor. And then they left. And he texted me, it was a false alarm, and everything's fine. So at 5 o'clock, we meet, and we walk to the parking garage. And a lot of times we meet people from his firm there. And sure enough, and one of them was in the mailroom. And she told us that it was a suspicious package that was sent to the law firm, or showed up in the mailroom of the law firm. And it was like wet and leaking. And they isolated everyone who had come in contact with it, I guess, and checked them out and kept them,
I guess they had to make sure it wasn't something like anthrax or something, that would hurt everybody.
I don't know what it was after all, but it was a non-emergency after all. But they were very cautious about it, which is good. And they did, she's like, yeah, we were stuck there, and they checked us out a million times, and, over the hours, I guess, and stuff, and finally cleared them. And I told Eli, maybe someone was just trying to mail green chili somewhere. Because every time I send Hannah green chili, I'm always like, I wonder if it's going to leak. But yeah, so that was our fun and exciting day. Oh, and fun times. And I went to McDonald's this morning. Always fun stories at McDonald's. I go there, and and this is my smart McDonald's, not your dumb McDonald's. I go there, and the lines are like so long in the drive-thru, and they're just stopped. And I'm like, Eli's like, let's go inside. And I'm like, I hate going inside, but I'm like, I'm just getting drinks. And I can order at the kiosk, right? And that'll be fast because it's just drinks. So I go, and I get my little app open, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I cannot show you your rewards at this time. Please press refresh. I'm sorry, I cannot show you your barcode at this time. Please press I'm sorry, I cannot show you your code at this time. Please press refresh. And I'm like...
They had something going on with their computer.
They're on my phone, like the app. So I'm like, fine. So then I go, because I'm like, oh, I finally remember to use the app, and it won't work. Because I never remember to use it. So then I go on the kiosk and order my drinks and blah, blah, blah. Are you sure you want to proceed without a code? Yes, because I can't get it on my phone. So, okay, I order my drinks, and you know how you get a receipt, right, with your order number, and then you go wait for it? The receipt prints out, except
There's nothing on it.
completely blank. So I walk over there, I'm like, I just ordered the kiosk, but look. He's like, what'd you order? So then we finally got our drinks and went. But I'm just like, are you kidding me?
Isn't technology wonderful?
So I
Paperless
worked.
society.
I worked for McDonald's for some years, right out of high school, and then for a while. And when I was at the first McDonald's I used to work at, this was, okay, no jokes about my age. This is back when they had...
No jokes about what?
My age.
Oh.
This is back when they had the characters like the Hamburglar and Grimace and
Oh yeah,
Ronald
it was Grimace's
McDonald.
birthday. Did you ever get a purple shake?
This is what I'm talking about.
Oh.
So I love Grimace. And one time they had Grimace at the store, at the McDonald's I worked at. And I got a picture of myself on his lap. And I just love Grimace. I don't know why. And
He's kind of cute.
And he's purple. So the Hamburglar, I mean, honestly, and Ronald McDonald's a clown, so enough said. But I like the little fry guys. Anyway, so I was real excited. One time, I have a Happy Meal toy that's Grimace, that I got not too long ago.
That's just such a funny name to name a character. That's going to be one of your corporate characters. Like, a grimace is not a happy expression.
No. So when I saw the Grimace meal, I was, and I tried to order it, and they're like, no, you can't get that till tomorrow. But there's a sign, Anyway, so the next day, Beth and I went, and we got them, and I was so mad because I always joke that I buy my drinks by color.
Yeah.
I want the drink that's blue. You mean the such and such? I don't know. Is that the blue one? So the shake was purple. And I thought, it's going to be grape or, something purpley. No, it was vanilla with purple dye.
Oh, no.
I was like, that's
I
no
wondered
fun.
about that. I wondered about that.
Because their green shakes are that mint shake that's really good, and their orange shakes are that orange flavor that's very good. They couldn't put a flavor in the purple. No, it's vanilla with purple flavoring. I was so mad. I was like, and that Grimace meal is not cheap. And I was like,
red 40 and blue whatever, blue 5.
I was like so mad. So what did I do? I went to Dutch and got a
purple drink.
No, a blue one. Oh. The electric berry lemonade. Yeah,
I was wondering if you got that. No, I have a picture of Grimace and Hamburglar with Eli when he was in the hospital. And he's sitting on his bed going... Like, I have no connection to these monsters that are in my room. But okay. If you make me sit here for these.
But you wanted I remember you wanted the Grimace t-shirt that girl was wearing.
Yeah,
those are cute.
I said, I want one of those. And she's like, I said, do you sell those? And she's like, no.
Well, you should.
You should.
You should look on eBay, but someone's selling one.
Some employee that got one and then
Got
quit.
fired. Took it home.
That is not enough thread to do a star. I'm not having thread luck with this.
I just found that this whole side of all these leaves, they're all off.
Nice.
So.
Mine's going great.
Well,
It's
you
not
know,
big enough yet.
I could get another piece of white and finish that S, no problem. But
It's the
this is
principle
all
of
the blue I have left. I just have this little, okay, you can't see that. It's like, here's the end, right? And of course it's looped over, but that is not enough to do.
Look.
Well, that's almost done.
No, it's half done. It has to go all the way around. But
Yeah, that's not enough to do 10 stitches.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to start a new thread for 10 stitches. And is there any other blue on this pattern? No, just that one star left. Yeah.
Well, I am going to go. I have things to do today. Oh, kitchen news. My contractor, we were starting, I'm like, either you died, you're ghosting me, or you're having a problem because, like, we needed a reply, and because we were waiting for this particular paperwork to tell, did you know, I'm going to speak trash about State Farm. Well, it's probably every insurance company. They'll give you some money, but they won't give it all to you unless you're contracted to do the work, because then they'll give you the rest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's my money. But anyway, so we needed that little, like, proof of contract that we, and so we were waiting on them, and it's like paperwork, and
They don't want you to take the money and not fix it like people do with their cars.
anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
So we were waiting, and like he wouldn't respond, and I really like these guys, and I'm like, what is going on? Wouldn't respond to Mark, and then I emailed him, and I called, and I emailed, and I called, and finally I got a call back, and I'm like, thought you died, man. He's like, no, I was really, really busy. I'm so sorry.
Summer's their busy time.
Yeah. So anyway, we had a nice long talk, and we got all the plans, and we figured out exactly the timeline. One of the things we're going to have to do is move the refrigerator to a whole different part of the house and unhook the water, so no nice ice for a couple weeks. That's okay. But I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
So you're going to have the refrigerator in the living room?
Or the dining room or somewhere. Yeah.
Well, the dining room is filled with table.
I know. But anyway, so we'll have to figure that out. But I was like, I didn't think about that when we bought the new fridge. But yeah, we're going to have to move it out of there. But I'm really glad we did. But anyway, so we have it all figured out. And last week we got some options for backsplash. And I think I've decided, I think I'm going to go with a pretty dark green, a pretty dark green, like a ceramic tile. It's dark green with like brown flecks in it. Kind of looks a little not super mottled, but
That'll look nice with your
and I think it'll really Mark's like, will it be too dark? Will it make it look too small? And I'm like, it is small. It's gonna look smaller. It's not, but it's already small. Like. Anyway, I think it'll look nice. We're gonna have under cabinet lighting anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I really like it. But today I'm gonna go look for some marble pencils to go on the edge of it, rather than a metal edge, I think. Anyway, that's what I'm doing today.
So
And
the
I
next
have to do
time we see you guys, it'll be a different month.
It'll be
Oh, yeah.
They don't give us the WIP-GO stuff until tomorrow, or is it today?
What's today?
The 24th. It's
tomorrow.
So we won't know what we're doing, but
We don't know now, but we will next week.
yeah.
Or in my case, what I'm not doing. This is the podcast about what we're not doing.
So I have this half done. Am I going to get the other half in the next week?
Yes. Yes, you will.
Since I'm not finishing the robin, perhaps.
Or will that be the one thing that you not do? That's what are you not going to do this week? Let's talk about that.
I don't know.
Well, thanks for joining us for another week, and we hope you have a good week, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.